Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a beautiful, pleasant day. Today's vlog is going to be about Father's Day, of course, and it's not going to only be an appreciation video towards my father and my child's father, but to all of the strong standing fathers out there. We appreciate you. Anybody who goes by the name of Gerald Thomas Sr. knows that you off and on, if you know him well enough, you go by Flex, right? Flexx is how that name is spelled, right? In the year of 2010, y'all, when I had graduated, I wanted to go out with a shebang of something, right? So I decided to use my dad's nickname. And I decided to get funky with it and go, hey, instead of Flex, I'm going to be Phlexxi. And I went from spelling it Flexxi to Phlexxi. And I know that that's a lot of funk in it, but I just wanted to make it cute. That's because my dad is also a preacher. So instead of making it corny and going FK, I put PK for both. Phlexxi and preacher's kid, but except for I don't necessarily make PK about being a preacher's kid. I just be like, honey, that's all me. I'm Phlexxi. I'm Phlexxi's kid. I'm Flex's kid. So that's why I put that like that. So, yeah. Now y'all have the backstory of where I had done came up with that name from. And yes, I did make it up myself. Nobody forced Phlexxi on me. I did that. So the way that some of y'all have went phonics, I'm gonna need for you to go back to your phonics sound and make sure that you're not putting no O and no N up in Phlexxi. The junk is literally spelled PH. As in like the way that you spell Philip. You're not going to drop an F right there. So we're not going to do that to Phlexxi. It's not F. It's PH. Say it with me. Phlexxi. Not Phoenix. One time somebody had even went up to me going, oh, there go Felix kid. And I'm sitting up here going like, hey, baby, but you saying that wrong. It's Phlexxi. There's one too many reasons why I'm mostly so grateful for my dad, for somebody like my dad. First of all, I'm glad that he didn't use the excuse of him not growing up with a father just to escape being out of my life. And to be honest, it's not to bash anyone. I know that everybody's past is different, but you don't have to sit up here. In my belief, you don't have to sit up here and punish somebody else for what you lacked growing up and even now. I hate when most guys, especially if you are hurt, damaged, especially, and you just make up every excuse there is and let that be one of them, that you didn't grow up with a father. Mine didn't either, but it didn't stop him from being a father in my life and in my siblings' life and now in his granddaughter's life. I never will forget, my daddy had came out to the school one day, and this was actually while I was in high school. I was a sophomore by this time, and my daddy just so happened to come to the school just to sit in, you know what I'm saying, on a session with me, I guess. And when he got ready to go, I can tell that the pressure was real. That's because one of the guys that was sitting to the back, one of my classmates, gonna bust out talking about some daddy gone. I'm talking about in the most so-called humorous way. and only a few kids started laughing or whatever. I didn't catch the drift or even find what the heck was funny, but I knew something about that touched some people in a way that they weren't going to show that it was really hurting them. And if it wasn't some of the guys that was being a bit foolish, it was some of the girls that was throwing off. Just like I had this one girl who stayed, for whatever reason, constantly calling me ugly, in which my self-esteem was every bit of low when I was in middle school and high school, but especially in middle school. And I remember this one chick talking about some, girl, you be stupid to really believe that your daddy really love you, talking about some, he don't be doing nothing but lying. And to be honest, she said it so much to the point that it's almost like I was bound to believe her, or got real close to believing her. And I had really just had to sit down to myself one day and just get to thinking, like, everybody is not going to be happy about the successes that I have in my life, including some of the people. And when I say that me having a 2-parent home was beyond not in my control, I don't understand how can having something good make somebody else angry. I have even watched some people's facial expressions whenever my daddy would say things like, out of the something years that I have been married to my wife, it doesn't matter how angry I have gotten at her, how upset, or how much of a brawl we have had that day, neither one of us have ever stepped outside of our marriage on each other. Boy, do some of y'all frown. You get to scunging up your nose, and it's like, what is the attitude for? But if my daddy would have been one of those type of men that was unfaithful to my mother, you would have had some of everything in the book to say about him. But he's actually able to come out to the forefront and say something that can keep his head literally lifted up high. He don't have a chip on his shoulder. My daddy is not out here with a belly full of regret. But y'all still, but you just want to be mad. And for what? And to be honest, when every time that my daddy can actually stand up and tell somebody that, he don't even know how much I smile. I probably smile harder than what my mama does. Like, that's a good thing, to be able to stand by your soulmate, your partner. You're allowing nobody to come in between you and what you have, your family, just for some good look, or should I say a temporary or one-time fling thing. Now, does my daddy have the same kind of flaws as anybody else does? Of course so. He's normal. He's human. Yes. In spite of the differences that we have had, I'm glad that we have found a way to get past those things, decided to talk about it, heal from it, be delivered from it. Y'all, I'm such a big fan of my dad for various reasons. As a matter of fact, 19 years ago, on May the 26th, this was May 26, 2005, I had fell off of a bicycle on a very hot day. We were living in Florida at the time, of course. I had just got out of school. It was early release. I was over to my aunt's house, and I was outside riding a bicycle before my mom had actually pulled off, because she was the one that had dropped me off to my aunt's house before she had went back to work. My mama was like, you don't think that it's a bit too hot to be out here riding around? Me being a kid, didn't really care, wasn't paying attention really. And I was on my menstruation as well. Y'all, by the time that my mama had probably even made it back to work good enough, I did go back inside of the house just to supposedly cool off, but I had ended up coming right back outside thinking that it was okay. That's because it had got, a little past the hours within the day, but it wasn't quite dark yet. Still hot enough to see heat waves. I had ended up basically fainting off of my bicycle, and I cracked my skull. I hit my head on the pavement first, and I cracked my skull, and I was told that I was having grandma seizures. I don't quite remember everything, guys. I'm not gonna quite tell, like, you know, the whole story. That's because that is some type of story to tell. And y'all, I really want to make a whole movie out of it. But basically, my daddy was by my side and prayed for me ceaselessly. Not only my grandmother and my immediate family, my mom, and, you know, just people all around, but I remember my dad being the one specifically to tell one of those nurses when I finally had got rushed to the hospital. He looked one of those nurses in the face when they had all these things tied to me, you know, ran all through, somewhere everywhere, all attached to my face, ears, nose, mouth, head, ain't no telling. Y'all, I had it all attached to me. And my daddy had went to, you know, asking, like, you know, what is all of this? He's not really a big fan of medicine, and neither am I. And he had told one of those nurses, after she had told my dad, you know, well, the reason why we got all this stuff on her, you know, she may end up having another seizure. My daddy had looked one of those nurses dead tail in the eyes and said, in the name of Jesus, she will not have another seizure. And I didn't. I really didn't. And I was told that my daddy had spoke scriptures in my ear each time that he had got a chance to. And before time had passed by good enough, what those doctors had said about me, including having a 50-50 chance to live, I believe if I didn't have some praying parents and a praying grandmother and a merciful God, I don't think that I would have been here to this day. On God, I wouldn't have been here. But y'all, my daddy was right there by my side within that time. My daddy was by my side while I felt like I practically almost about lost my life when I was giving birth to my baby girl. Funny how these numbers roll around. At 13, I was almost out of here. At 31, 13 backwards, I had my first child, and an oxygen mask had to end up being put on my face. I felt myself going out the same way that I did on the bicycle. Y'all, that is no joke. And my daddy held my hand while the world was receiving Tariah Evans. Y'all, I thank God for my dad so much, and I'm really, really trying not to cry. And to the father of Tariah, I'm thankful for you too. Say, excuse me. You guys, I have never thought that it would ever come to a day of where I would decide to actually make a family with somebody who I used to view only as a smoking buddy. And yes, this is somebody who I used to blow up a tree with. And this is somebody who I thought was just gonna be some type of playmate, if I must say. Within the time frame that I had met him, I gotta say, my world was pretty dark. A lot of things was happening back to back. But I didn't think that somebody who I used to pull up on with a friend, well, that friend used to have me with her, and we used to pull up on this guy, you know, just to be in a session. But I didn't think that the same person who I had built some type of memory with would soon be the father of my child, and pretty sooner to be my future husband. I mean, and yes, we do have plans to get married. And no, y'all want to know what's so funny about this whole thing? It wasn't necessarily a proposal of a, will you marry me? It was just one of those things like, I'm more than a boyfriend to you. I'm more than just a baby daddy to you, even though you don't necessarily call me that It's just a simple fact that we have stuck around each other within some wild seasons of our life, and I love you both, meaning the mother of my child and the baby, and I see nothing that I want to be basically away from. I don't see anything that I want to walk away from. This is us. This is you. This is I. This is a we thing. Okay, so what do you say? So with that being said, y'all, I literally asked, so what are you, my fiance or something? Are we planning on getting married? Not only did he just give a quick yeah to that question, but it's like he expressed himself in a way that I actually thought that he never would before, and it reached and touched my heart. So I decided to hold on to it. So yeah, me and Taraya's father are engaged.
After everyone, y'all see the imagery, y'all sit with me. Everybody's full. Everybody, don't miss this, not just full, but set.
Y'all know something? I'm just so happy at the fact that I literally had a child with somebody who is still considering marriage, somebody who wants to be a family man. I'm not alone. This guy didn't get up from me and say, oh, this child isn't mine, or just went to second guessing anything. It's like from the moment that I had gave, y'all hear my baby in the background. It's like the moment that I had gave confirmation through a pea stick that, you know, we have some live action on the way. Even though things weren't always the smoothest in between us, that's just like any other normal couple. I'm still glad at the fact that this person is willing to go through some hell and high waters, I guess, with me. And I'm just overall grateful for the whole thing, this whole setup. I mean, we even be telling each other all the time, thanks for being the stop sign that we both needed. I guess when our paths crossed, we didn't think that things were going to go any deeper than what they were going, and now we have a whole family. So that right there is a true gift to me. To my daddy, to my child's dad, and to all of the great men out there. Y'all are very handsome out here. You are loved. You are appreciated. And I thank you all so very much just for filling in the gap and not leaving your child behind, not leaving yourself behind, and not leaving that woman behind. Thank you. Thank you for not thinking of yourself, but taking it upon yourself to be a family man. Even if you just so happen to not have any children, but you played a part in somebody's life, especially a child's life, happy Father's Day to you as well. Everybody have a great day. Be safe. And make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Everybody be well out there and be easy.